Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic, non-classics. This is episode number 1742 and Doubleshot number 1636. I got two trades here that feature the Scarlet Witch. First up, and this is a more recent book, or one of the recent ones, we have X-Men, the Trial of Magneto. Now, how was it really Scarlet Witch? Scarlet Witch was killed just prior to this. And Magneto is the obvious suspect, even though it's not actually him at all. It was actually somebody else. Yep, and a lot of this thing is basically does in fact set us up we would see actually currently in the books. And we see a return of a character in this miniseries, so I'll get to that in a minute of who it is, who has not been seen in decades. I'll get to that. So, they investigate who is the murderer. Of course, Magneto here is wearing his black outfit, an outfit he wore in his solo book. Yes, for some reason he's back wearing this for the first half of this miniseries, and then later on he switches to the classic Stan Lee look. Yep. All because he's accused of murder. He's like, no, I'm not going to be arrested, because I didn't do this at all. He's constantly fighting the whole time, and the Avengers are kind of kept in the dark a bit about the death of the Scarlet Witch, which I thought was kind of weird. At one point, Magneto does something completely unexpected. You know that big, huge globe on Xavier's head? He tries to squish the damn thing on his head in order to basically see his face. And like, oh yeah, you're acting a bit irrational. Like, this is a bit unusual for you. Oh, by the way, who actually is responsible for killing the Scarlet Witch? Well, he's attempt to kill her? Toad. Yep. Toad is responsible for this. That things to come. But Scarlet Witch did find something interesting that did unlock something. New resurrection codes. So we can find more characters in the current X-Men books. And the first character who is resurrected is John Proudstar, the original Thunderbird. James Proudstar's older brother who died back in Uncanny X-Men number 95 back in 1976. Yes, a character who'd been dead for about 50 years is now back. Also, he's not the only one coming back. Oh no. Yes. Northstar tells his husband Kyle, which thank you Hickman for not retconning this marriage, because I thought that was a really good idea because Northstar's gay. He tells his husband that they're expecting. Expecting what? A baby. How? They're gay. Well, he did tell about a baby he adopted before she passed away. A baby that appeared once in one comic book. It was Alpha Flight 106. And this is a very infamous issue. Why is this issue very infamous, you might ask? Well, because this is the very issue where Northstar outed himself as gay. And exactly 2 years after the issue was released, the book ended. Yep. So he revealed that yes, it turns out his adopted daughter was in fact a mutant all along. Yeah, she was mutant, and she can't be resurrected. Which makes her probably the youngest person to be resurrected. I mean, she's not been gone for very long. She's not as gone as, let's say, John Proudstar. She's been gone since the 90s. He's been gone since the 70s. So, thanks to Scarlet Witch, the X-Men can revive people who were brought back, who died actually prior to the formation of Krakatoa. Interesting. Who knows anything with this? That's the thing. There are certain characters related to the X-Men franchise who are long-standing members of the X-Men who do virtually nothing. Nightcrawler is one of them. This miniseries actually is pretty good. This is written by Leah Williams, the writer of the X Factor. Which, by the way, the final issue of X Factor led to this very miniseries. And this is the most recent thing X Factors did, was this very miniseries. Now, does this lead to anything? Aside from something new plot thread, like any new series spark after this? Not that I can think of, no, but it's still a pretty good miniseries. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is something else that also came out last year. Excuse me, yes, this is related to Scarlet Witch. This is The Darkhold, a mini event from last year. A series of one-shots. This is one of two that released last year. The other was Extreme Carnage. Yep. Now, this is basically as Darkhold Alpha and Omega along with Darkhold one-shots for these falling superheroes who are summoned here, which seems quite odd. The fact that these four would be the ones who gets involved in this story. That mostly puts a lot of this as alternate timelines for these characters, very dark futures. One is not surprising; he's had one of these before. The other one's seems a bit odd. The fact that it is like here are your ones you have basically having one shots for the Darkhold. We have Blade, the Wasp, Iron Man, and Spider-Man. Which that seems interesting. I mean, Spider-Man, I'm not all that surprised given the fact he's had some history with magic. Okay, fine. Wasp, this seems a bit odd for her. She has no history with dealing with magic that very much. Yeah, her experience with magic is smaller than Spider-Man's. Iron Man, this kind of makes some sense, basically involved with some magic. He, of course, has never dabbled into magic per se, but he's fought magical things. And, of course, he's had encounters with Thor. Blade, I'm actually not surprised because he actually has history with Darkhold thanks to the Midnight Sun stuff. So, apparently, Doctor Doom, along with Victorious, his former fiancée who appears in these one-shots, who decided to dig up the Darkhold. First time this book has actually appeared in Marvel Comics since the end of the Carnage ongoing. Well, actually, it did. His last appearance prior to this was actually back in the Absolute Carnage crossover. Yes, it was actually just prior to that. It was the last time it physically appeared. Apparently, it was brought back because a demon had to come back. So, apparently, these four superheroes are summoned here, and a lot of these one-shots are simply dark histories for them. Iron Man's is simply this. Like, apparently he's trapped in his armor, and he can't take it off, and, like, he's eating Pepper Potts, and at one point he's kissing her, he's also grabbing her rear end, which, I'm thinking, Pepper Potts is hot, so good on you, man. Apparently, when he puts on apparently if he takes off the suit itself, it gets rid of his skin. Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, apparently puts in the helmet on, that's how they took out before, and apparently destroys his skin, and apparently everybody's put into armors for reasons, and then you have turned like a monster dragging his own girlfriend into a suit of armor. And that's where that story ends. Yeah, this one seems quite weird. I'm like, this is not some alternate continuity like one of what I'm going to talk about here. Man, this seems so weird. The Wasp one seems odd, to say the least. It seems as though this is an alternate timeline version of what happened with the whole thing with Trial of the Yellow Jacket, where he killed Elf Queen. And Wasp actually a bit unusual. And then, of course, you have this thing where she grabs a piece of glass and she kills Hank Pym. Yeah, she murders Hank Pym and becomes crazy. Blade, on the other hand, this one's kind of odd. He's kind of a good guy in this continuity. Of course, he has vampires. I thought it was probably the best one. It wasn't as dark or gross as basically Hope with Iron Man. Spider-Man, it's like, oh, the whole city is dependent upon him. And everybody is covered with webs, including Dr. Octopus. Yes, the back building of the whole city is covered with webs. And you have him contact his girlfriend Gwen, like, tell him, hey, happy anniversary. And then when he finally gets a chance to see his well, actually, if real continuity is actually his wife, she apparently is dead. I'm like, what? Was he talking about a recording or was he talking to a dead woman? I'm not sure. And it seems quite weird that everybody's held together by this webbing. Yeah, I thought this was kind of weird. It was by far the most strangest one-shot. And they first described him as the Fool. Yes, the Fool. And I think they referred to like Iron Man as the Dreamer, which I thought that was interesting. And in the end, of course, they have taken care of these ultimate like evil versions of these four characters. They stopped Cthulhu on, and the ending is like, oh yeah, Scarlet Witch returned in the book. I gotta admit, this actually was a really good series of one-shots for Marvel. Mm-hmm. It's not an event, basically, people talk about. And if you're curious to who writes these one-shots, well, this might surprise you. The Omega one-shots are done... Oh, by the way, Black Bolt's here as well. Yes, where... Get this. This story is that apparently Maximus the Mad and Black Bolt have swapped bodies. No, seriously, they have swapped bodies for reasons. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to forget about that one. Now, Steve Lano does the Alpha Mega one-shots with Kane Tamori does the artwork. Ryan North, who does Iron Man, with Gabriel Suna and the artwork. Blade is done by Daniel Kipplesmith with Federico Sabiti. Wasp by Jordan Burley, who also does the artwork as well. Black Bolt is done by Mark Russell. Yes, Mark Russell, the guy who worked on book like X Age Left, Snagglepuss. With art by David Cutler. The Spider-Man one-shot is written by Alex Pedico with art by Dito Knives. Interesting. Yep. Yeah. By the way, with the cover art for these ones. Alpha is by Greg Smallwood. So Iron Man is Valerio Ganito and Rafael Dornio Jr. Juan Ferreira does Blade. Wasp Paul Riddy. Black Bolt Trevor Foreman and Dan Brown. Spider-Man James Herron and Dave Stewart. Omega is done by Chris Bachalo. Yes, seriously, Chris Bachalo. Yep. Now, why do I get this one? I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Just a really damn good book. Yeah, it's interesting that we got like a mini-series and a series of one-shots. Yeah, and both these books came out just last year. You're thinking, really? Yes, really. And one thing I didn't like about Chad Magneto is I ended a really good X-Factor run. Yeah, this run was really short. It was only 10 issues. And I scratched my head at that, like, Marvel, why'd you end a really good book like X-Factor? Yeah. There might have been some books basically it was perfectly happening, but that book had no reason to end at all. Yep. But yeah, that's particularly it for this particular review. And that's probably going to be it for videos today, because I don't think we'll do more videos tonight. That's about tomorrow. I do expect like 1, maybe 2 videos. One of those videos will be the final episode of Attack on Titan. Okay? Next video.